What's going on, guys? Kind of a different review here. I actually gave my friend who is 6'6", one of the most popular half racks or squat racks on the market today, the Major Fitness or Major Ludi F22. I'm gonna get into kind of the building of it, all the ins and outs, honest pros and cons about this very popular rack that for many months I held off on even wanting to do a review. Not so much out of spite or anything like that. It just seemed like it was so overdone. So many more people have already covered this rack. A lot of reviews are paid promotional reviews. Again, nothing against that, but I only like to do things that are not promotional reviews, very independent as much as I can to give you guys my honest opinions about this rack. And that's what I'm gonna do. I figured that my friend needed a rack, he needed some equipment, wanted to get back in shape. And these guys very generously were gonna send one out. They had no problem with me sending it out to my friend. Again, I thought it was interesting because if you actually look at this rack, the dimensions on this thing are 82.5 inches tall, I believe. And pretty small footprint also when you consider, and I'll flash the dimensions here on the screen as you guys are looking at it. So I will link this product on Amazon, also a link down below. Both of them help me out affiliate links wise. If you guys do want to pick one of these things up, gonna give you guys, of course, my honest, brutally honest review about this rack that I will say up front did surprise me. So let's jump right into it. Before I get into all the unboxing and all that stuff, I just do want to point out the price and kind of the main features about this rack, because I've covered other cheaper racks in the past. I know these are very popular for a number of reasons, of course, because of the price point and the functionality. But this Major Fitness, again, formerly Major Ludi, I'm not sure what they're doing here. This is, you can buy this rack by itself or you can buy it with a package. I'm actually surprised, and usually this is how it is. It's usually cheaper on Amazon, at least at this point in time, if I'm reading this correctly. But this whole all-in-one package, it used to be called the F22 Raptor, I should say. And I think because of the Lockheed Martin airplane, they probably took off the Raptor part, maybe out of licensing or confusion, but now it's just called the F22. But this package is what they actually hooked me up with, and I didn't know this, or I should say my friend. So when I went to his house, and we'll get to the assembly here, and I saw that it came with a decent barbell, a decent bench, the rack, of course, and then 230 pounds worth of bumper plates. Thought, hey, this guy's, he's set up, ready to go. But this whole package actually on Amazon is pretty affordable. So it's with this coupon I'm showing right now at the time of this recording, saves you another $200 off. It's cheaper on Amazon versus the website. Again, I'll link it down below. Helps support me in the channel if you guys do consider it. Again, we'll be completely honest though with it. But the main features about this that I think are unique, this is of course a half rack, but also incorporates a functional trainer with it. So they do make full power racks. I've covered full, very cheap power racks in the past on the channel. But I think what is unique about this, you don't really appreciate till you're up close with it, is just how compact and small the footprint is. You guys know I use a yoke on the channel. If you do follow my channel, I'm kind of the opinion now that really the half rack is the way to go unless you want to have an undedicated set of posts, say for things like lever arms. So if you're looking for a space-saving way of kind of doing things, and I think the most practical way of doing things for most people, I think this kind of design is actually very attractive for a number of people. All right, so getting into the build process, unboxing, all that stuff. The Raptor F22, or just the F22, I guess what it's going by, came in 3 boxes. The bench and the barbell weights, of course, came separately. Very well organized, I'll say that, and I'll probably say this throughout the video. This thing did actually surprise me in the quality of what you were getting. I had kind of lower expectations, to be honest with you, because I've reviewed a lot of different types of racks like this. Notice right here, just the bolts and stuff like that. I mean, very well organized and assembled in the sense that some of these bolts and manuals can be like really convoluted unnecessarily with like different bolt sizes and stuff like that. So having kind of similar bolt sizes and just the way the manual is laid out, where things were organized by a numbering system, by page, step by step, made this process pretty easy for the most part. You guys can see all the parts laid out here on top, and we're really a lot of parts as far as what it seemed like. It did seem, I thought it'd actually take a little bit quicker than it did to assemble, but it only took us about a little over 2 hours, I would say. Or only, I don't know, 2.5 hours probably at the end of the day. And we were actually kind of rushing it, at least I was rushing it to kind of get out of his hair. If it isn't obvious, we're actually in his gym, or this is his kind of garage here. He's got some stall mats that he picked up that I recommend him pick up. Worked out perfectly for his setup. And this is kind of the midway kind of process of us kind of assembling it. And for the most part, I'd say the parts felt like what I expect them to feel like, in the sense that, there's some shot of the band pegs, actually nice, useful little function there. Stuff was very much on the lighter end of things. It's kind of what you felt, the steel is 14 gauge steel, which is kind of, I think, what you'd expect. Stuff's kind of lighter, especially with this bench. This bench, very simplistic, I shouldn't say simplistic, very good basic design that I was like, my friend got essentially really hooked up, in my opinion. Kind of a tapered bench, but very light, has wheels, very practical use for him. Again, he's a big dude, so a little more on the squishier side with the fabric, but you get all sorts of easier increments. And this thing, I think I was impressed by just the bench itself. Barbell also seems decent. Again, this thing's brand new though, has a decent spin. I'll talk more about that here in a second. 230 pounds, I believe, here with their bumper plates. I assume some of the smaller ones, again, this is fresh out of the box, they look good, but I think some of the smaller ones eventually over time, you know, might kind of warp a little bit. Here's kind of the finished product. Again, it took us roughly 2 hours, a little more than that, to finish that. You got some J-cups, dip bars, you see the band pegs, the landmine. We'll get to the barbell here in a second. We're gonna clean this area up here in a little bit. But looking up here at the cables, I'll talk about the handles here in a second. The handles are nothing really to write home about. Handles are very cheap. They do give you some carabiners, they give you some clips. This package really does give you everything out of the box, I will say that though. But very cheap handles in my opinion. I would upgrade those eventually. J-cups are decent, have this plastic liner to help protect the barbell. Same thing down here with the spotter arms. The barbell, standard barbell, got a really decent spin on it. Actually felt good when I did some stuff like benching. Even though it has a spin, it's not, you know, super spinny, for lack of a better term, when you're benching, because I don't like stuff that's super spinny. That's not necessarily that safe. Barbell has bushings and also has some bearings in there as well. They apparently did a redesign on this with kind of the triangular structure in the bottom and also the top to help stabilize it a little bit more so. Landmine here, just for looking at it, kind of, you know, nothing really to write home about. Kind of felt like a cheaper design, but again, functionally, it's gonna work fine. Trusted dip bars, you can kind of see what I'm working with here. I mean, definitely does the job. It's 2 different position points, works well. The actual cable system itself, I thought, needed a little bit more lubrication in my opinion, but still it was fine, just not as like super smooth and fluid as what you'd expect, and nor should you, I guess, at this price point. Got some holders there, you know, say for things like bands, you got clips in the back. The pull-up bars have this kind of a, I don't know, squishier rubber. I think it does come across in the video, but I do appreciate the different sights, but you might prefer a, you know, standard pull-up bar, I don't know. Bunch of clips there, very functional. Again, like a lot of these barbells, these racks that are coming out. I think the handle, that curl bar, you know, pretty cheap. I mean, nothing really home about there either, but I think we'll do the job. Same thing with the lat pull down attachment. Again, very simple lat pull down. I think for most people though, you're not probably gonna notice unless you start to get kind of in the snob territory like I start to get into recently. And then you get into like this little T-bar row attachment for the barbell. Also very light in the hands. I think that also comes across in the video. Storage horns in the back work out pretty good. There was kind of a disagreement between him and his wife on where to put these. I kind of recommended to push away from the wall. She wanted the position there. I think they did move it away, but yeah, obviously I think we did push that back because that's gonna be tough for him, especially being 6 foot to pull this stuff off. But I appreciate the different, you got 4 horns there for the different storage sites. I wanted to show you this now. So he is 6'6". This thing's 82.5 inches tall. And believe it or not, I've even followed up with him in this. He actually feels like this thing is working out fine. He has no problems with it. I said when I first recommended it, like this thing might be too short for you. He could for sure go a little heavier. Here's him at dead hang, again, 6'6". He's just barely clearing the ground with his knees. But I will say for things like squatting and everything else he did so far, he said it's working out fine. Now here's just me messing around with it. I wanted to give you guys my impressions about using it. So benching felt fine. Did some stuff with cables. Here's kind of the bench in action too. Easy to kind of pull that up with the, you know, basic kind of notches in there. Cables felt fine. Again, nothing really to write home about. Kind of what I expected. The way they kind of move up and down the rails. Like I said, maybe could use a little more lubrication. Not super smooth, but I wouldn't say super aggressive. We didn't have a whole lot of friction on that. Pull downs, I did a variety of stuff. You'll see me do some rear delt flies. You see me bicep curls here. Just really testing out the cables. And you can also see here, it's not moving that much. And this is also granted, we actually tightened this down more. We kind of rushed this a little bit. So we actually did tighten some stuff down a little bit more. But one of the things Major Fitness says on their website is that they really wanted it to, they really wanted things to be a little more stable on this newer design. They apparently did a couple little redesign tweaks here. Rear delt flies felt good, pull-ups felt good. Again, you can see the stability there, you know, as well. I think at the end of the day, guys, as I'm wrapping up some of these exercises, you're gonna see a lot of other stuff here. Everything, for the most part, felt good. Oh, I didn't say this. This is a 2-to-1 cable ratio. So always gonna bank that in the back of your head. Things like, I said this in previous videos with the Force USA stuff, even with weight stacks, is that something like this, you know, like mostly for lat pull downs, rows, you're gonna have to half that weight in half. So while this is an affordable option for most people, other than weight stacks, you're gonna need a lot of extra weight on that, you know, barbell, or I'm sorry, those little horns to actually you know, maybe pull more than you actually gonna need to. So you gotta split that weight in half with the 2-to-1 ratio. But I think overall this thing felt good. You can see they had some in-laws over watching as we were building this. And I think to the untrained eye, which is funny, a lot of those, actually the guys were watching that, one of those in-laws, you know, commented on how, you know, great the machine looked and the great quality it is. I think for the average person, no one's gonna really know a difference in this, which is why I think these machines are selling so well. So for me, I got no problems with this machine. I think it actually did surprise me in its functionality and the small footprint. I got no issues with it whatsoever. I can see for a lot of people, especially in this package, if you want something that does the job, which by the way, they have tons of attachments. So this knee anchor point here actually works out for a lot of people. You just drop the bench down to a decline, put an anchor, the knee ankle attachment in there, and you can use that as a functional lat pull down. But again, you're gonna need a little more weight if you want a little more something heavier for that 2-to-1 ratio. Overall, guys, I think this was, I think it's a solid pick for a lot of people. It's hard to beat. I'm really trying to be as honest as I can. I think it's up there. A lot of these things I've tried so far for me actually work out pretty good. I think this is a good starter rack. This could just be a rack you use forever. I don't think this thing's gonna warp or break. I think under the loads most people are gonna carry, I think it's fine. Personally, I would prefer weight stacks at this point, knowing what I know. That's just kind of me just getting a little more just custom to other stuff and having other toys at my disposal. I appreciate that. But if you're looking at a package like this that is going for, again, on Amazon right now, it's all the bells and whistles included. Not a bad deal in my opinion. My friend's very happy with it, did a follow-up with him. This has been about a 3-week-old video. So he's still been using it, loves it. Actually, his wife uses it too. So working out really good. Any questions, comments, feedback, let me know. Again, if you guys want to pick this rack up or anything from Major Fitness, whatever, I will put a link down below, help support me in the channel. I will see you guys on the next video.